Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Myers, and I'm not related to Dr. Stephen Meyer. I have an extra S on my name, so a lot of people may be confused between us. Dr. Stephen Myers with the Discovery Institute. I'm with the Institute for Biblical and Scientific Studies. And today I want to answer, does archaeology prove the Bible true? Is it yes, no? Do you agree, disagree? Well, that's what we want to look at today. I was interested in Bible and science, and I was a young earth creationist at one time. And then I became interested in rocks and fossils. But then one day I heard of a class in archaeology and the Bible at the University of Pennsylvania. And I live in Philadelphia. And so, oh boy, this is a great opportunity. It was like auditing the class, an adult class where you can sit in and hear what the teacher had to say. So I signed up for that, and it was at their museum there, a very beautiful museum. This is one of their main entrances here. And they have all sorts of archaeology, some great discoveries there. They excavated at there's a big Egyptian section, but right now they are updating it and remodeling, and in 2028, if I remember correctly, it should be all finished, and that should be great to see that. But they have some wonderful exhibits at the University of Pennsylvania Museum. And I went there and took the class, and it was very exciting, and I got bit by the archaeology bug. And of course, just earlier, there's the Indiana Jones movies. But of course, most of the archaeology is not like Indiana Jones. I was amazed to find out in this class there are a lot of texts, there are a lot of tablets, papyrus, and other things that relate directly to the Bible. And one of them is the black obelisk of Shalmaneser III, as you can see here. I make replicas, recreations of these, and sell them to get some extra money. But here we have King Jehu of Israel bowing down before Shalmaneser III. And I was amazed to find out all these different texts that relate to the Bible. And here we can see one ANET, abbreviated for Ancient Near Eastern Texts. And you can get a small paperback one. This is volume 1. And then there's a volume 2 that's cheaper. Of course, if you're going to really do in-depth study, you got to get the thick one of the text. But now there's a newer volumes out called Context of Scripture, or COS, COS, that has, I think, like 4 volumes and lots of texts that relate to the Bible. And so I was just amazed at all these different texts and tablets that relate to the Bible. And I mentioned here Accordance, which is a software program. And I have the context of Scripture on that, so I can search through that easily and find things. And it's also great that you can put the Hebrew Old Testament next to the Septuagint, the Greek Old Testament, and a commentary or something, and that makes it a lot easier to go back from forth between Hebrew and Greek. So Accordance is an excellent software program. So these were amazing things, and I want to look at some other things related to the Bible and archaeology. Here we have the Taylor prism that's in the British Museum, and it has the annals of Sennacherib. And one of the key things, it talks about the siege of Jerusalem during the time of King Hezekiah. And this is recorded in the Bible in Isaiah 36, 37, and 2 Kings and Chronicles, and even Herodotus. And we have all these sources telling about this siege of Jerusalem. Now, the devil is in the details here. The story in the Bible and the one here on Taylor Prism, it doesn't match exactly. The only thing that does match up exactly is the tribute that Hezekiah paid to Sennacherib. So you have Hezekiah claiming great victory for his God, whereas Sennacherib, he claims victory. They think that he had to fight the Egyptians that were coming up. There was a great rebellion back home that he had to leave quick and go back and take care of. So you have like two different stories here, but some common ground. And this happens quite a bit, and we'll see in another instant here. Here we have the Battle of Kadesh illustrated there in the Ramesseum there in Egypt. You can see a big statue of Ramses II. And he went to battle the Hittites. And there was a huge, the Hittites surprised them, and they almost lost. And he credits that he rallied his army, and God helped him win a great victory. But in reality, it seemed like the 5th Division that was behind finally came up to help him, or he would have been in big trouble and may have lost. Of course, the Hittites, they claim a great victory. Both claim great victories at the Battle of Kadesh. So what really happened? Well, some think that what happened was it was basically a stalemate. Both sides didn't win any big battles. They survived. And that's a lot of it is propaganda. And so you have him telling his side, Ramses II, that he won it. Of course, on the Hittite side, oh, we won it. So that's how it goes. You don't get pure history like we know history today. Of course, history today, too, has a lot of propaganda on which side you're going to be on. And usually it's the winning side that tells the story. Here's another interesting find at Katila Adrud inscription. It was a big pithos jar. They found pieces, and you see on the right some of the pieces there, and here's a blown up recreation here. And it says, above it, it says, I have blessed you to Adonai of Samaria and to his Asherah, which would be God's wife. And so Deaver writes a book, Did God Have a Wife? And according to these fragments here, he did have a wife. Of course, in the Bible, there's that may have been excluded by editors, but at this time he had a wife, Asherah. Another big archaeological problem is the Exodus. Is there any archaeological evidence for a mass exodus from Egypt? According to conservatives, this was in 1446 BC. Supposing that you can count down accurately backwards here. But there's a lack of any archaeological evidence for an exodus at 1446 BC. Now, what I did is, because I became very interested in this topic and in archaeology, I wrote my dissertation on this in 1997, The Date of the Exodus According to Ancient Writers. And you can look at that online at academia.edu. And here I look at the ancient writers, and most all of the ancient writers equated the expulsion of the Hyksos with the Israelite exodus from Egypt. The only main exception was Eusebius, who put it at a different time. And I think there's a kernel of truth in this. That I think it goes back, that's the only mass exodus there ever was out of Egypt, and that was with the Hyksos. There's a book, Donald Redford, who writes, and he thinks there's a kernel of truth in the Hyksos exit from Egypt. And then there's another papyrus, the Quora of Sequirnar with Apophis. And I write about this in the first edition of the Exodus story, and you can also download that on academia.edu. And then after I wrote that, Peter Feynman has come out with a whole book on it, The Exodus, an Egyptian Story, based on this papyrus fragment that he thinks has a complete Exodus story. Now, the story that mainly that's on there is Apophis writes a letter down, this would be to the king in Luxor, Egypt, Karnak, that the hippopotamuses are keeping him awake at night from down there, and that's like 600 miles away. And he's complaining to him about this. Of course, this is trying to goad him to coming up and attacking him. And so it's a very interesting story there. And I think this may be the basis for the Exodus story in the Bible. And I've written a book about it here, and you can download that on academia.edu, or you can get a hard copy of it on Etsy. And I've updated with this other first edition of the Exodus story. And it's like I have a little picture here of the Epic of Gilgamesh, or it should be Gilgamesh if you want to pronounce it correctly. Telling of the flood story. And we have the flood story in the Bible, and it's very similar. And it seems like they took the Babylonian flood story and redid it and rewove it the way they wanted to put it in the Bible. I think this may be the same thing that's happening with this quarrel between Sequirnar and Apophis, that they may have weaved this story into what we have the Exodus story in the Bible today. Now, there's also some amazing claims that people make about discoveries of the Bible, and we have to be very, very careful, for extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. And one of these is Ron Wyatt, who has claimed to found the Noah's Ark, claimed to find the Ark of the Covenant, and all sorts of things that he's claimed to find, but there's no archaeological evidence to back it up. And here's one of them. He claims to have found a chariot wheel in the Gulf of Aqaba. And you can see here, right here, it looks like a big metal circle here for maybe some type of wheel. We don't know how big this is. But if we look at the excavation of King Tut's tomb, you can see what they really look like. Here's another one over here of chariot wheels. These have 6 spokes and very thin, and these are very thick, and it looks like solid metal. So it looks, and here you can see on a wall there at Abbey Symbol of Ramses II riding the chariot there. But if we look at the evidence, you go to the museums I've been in, they don't look anything like Ron Wyatt's chariot wheel that he supposedly found there in the Red Sea. So we have to be very careful about these claims that people make. Most of them, they don't have a degree in archaeology. Ron Wyatt didn't have a degree in archaeology. And some of these others who claim great discoveries, write books, promote it, sell many copies, become famous. But there's when archaeology looks at it, and archaeologists no, there's no proof of it whatsoever. I did go to Ron Wyatt's Archaeological Museum. It's about an hour south of Nashville, Tennessee, and he has a little museum there. But Ron Wyatt passed away in 1999, and so Richard Reeves is the president, at least when I was there, and I did an interview with him. And so if you're interested in that, I'll put a link below. And so if you want to see what's in the museum there and his interview about it, you can see that. But he has a whole museum there, and I couldn't find anything that really supported his views whatsoever. If you do visit his museum there in Nashville, they have built a full-size replica of the Parthenon there. And this is amazing to see if you can't get to Greece. Next best thing is to see the one in Nashville. And inside there's a huge statue of Athena. Of course, they believed the gods were huge giants. And there's a museum underneath. And it's really amazing to see that in Nashville. Because of my interest in archaeology, I started collecting things to have a small museum, an exhibit about archaeology in the Bible. And I thought it'd be good to go and see what an excavation is all about. So I took my 2 kids with me, and we went to Tel El Haman in Jordan. Joined the excavation there for a week to see, get an idea of what they do there. And Tel El Haman is the largest mound there in Jordan. And it's pretty amazing to see. Here's excavations that were going on the mound itself here. You might not know it, but this is the entrance to the city gate. And there was 2 tall towers on each side of the gate to guard the gate's opening. But it's hard to tell from the archaeology here. But we had a good time helping out there with the excavation. After collecting a number of items, and a number of these had to be replicas, we have the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is not the original Dead Sea Scrolls. This is just a replicas, and also the Copper Scroll there, and the commentary on Habakkuk and other things there. I opened up a Bible history exhibits in 2013, and it ran for just over 10 years. And then our lease ran out, and we had to close it down, and sold a number of the exhibits there. This exhibit of the Dead Sea Scrolls went to a museum in Hong Kong. but it was very interesting putting the whole exhibits together and making a lot of recreations, replicas, which I still make and sell on Etsy today to get supplemental income. And I have videos of this. If you want to take a tour of this, even though it's gone, I've put a tour of these online on the channel here. And it's divided up, I think, in 5 or 6 videos. And starting with Genesis and going through the whole book of Revelation and then on to church history. So you can look at those videos as well and get a better idea of the Bible history exhibits. Well, here are some key things we can take away. The archaeology can illuminate the Bible and help explain parts of the Bible. And that's absolutely great. I hope they discover more tablets and papyrus related to the Bible. But we can't prove the Bible is true in what everything it says. We can prove archaeology that there was a city named Jerusalem, or a city named Shechem, or other things mentioned in the Bible that they've dug up. But it can't tell us exactly what happened there, as it says in the Bible. So it can illuminate the Bible, it just can't prove everything in the Bible. The Bible was not meant to be a history book. And here we get into the devil is in the details. Like we compare the Taylor prism with the Bible, we have 2 different stories there. And then we have extraordinary claims like by Ron Wyatt and others, claiming great things, but it demands extraordinary proof that they don't have if you look at it closely. Here are some resources. I remember coming across an advertisement for The Holy Land Revealed by Jodi Magness, and I thought, wow, this is great. And so I bought the course. You could buy it on CD, DVD, and what I bought some of these, and I put it a CD in my car and listened to it as I'd go to and from work. And this was great about the Holy Land and the archaeology here, and great courses. The Great Courses is now Great Courses Plus. You can get all these amazing courses by experts in their fields. And I just became obsessed with some of these different courses, and bought a number of these. And now they have it where you can stream these courses. Another one, Archaeology, an Introduction to the World's Greatest Sites by Cline, which includes a number of them related to the Bible. Then there's Decoding the Secrets of Egyptian Hieroglyphics by Brier. So if you want to learn Egyptian hieroglyphics, that would be a great course to take there. Of course, I'm getting old here now and forgetting a lot of the hieroglyphics. And then we have History of the Bible, Making of the New Testament Canon by Bart, Ehrman. And that was a great course. And he has a number of great courses on the Great Courses website. And he has his own courses now on his own bartehrman.com site. So there's a lot of resources you can take advantage of, especially if you can't go to college and take classes. You can do it all online here and take what classes you like. Then I ran across one day Myth Vision on YouTube, and I was wondering what all that is about. I was amazed to find some of these great scholars that he interviews, and it's very interesting to follow these on Myth Vision podcast. Then one book that that's easy to read. The Bible Unearthed by Israel Finkelstein and Neil Silberman, put out in 2001. Here it is here. And this is an easy book to read about the archaeology and the Bible. Then I guess I didn't put one that holy relics here, Revelation. And this book is about Ron Wyatt and all his claims that he purports to be true. But this book points out the many problems with his discoveries and with Ron Wyatt. I'll add that in the notes below. So here are some key things to get you started. Well, it's time to wrap things up. Does archaeology prove the Bible true? No, it doesn't. It can illuminate the Bible in many ways and very, very helpful, but it can't prove everything in the Bible is true. And I have my writings there at academia.edu. Also a website at bibleandscience.com that covers many issues. And I'm going to put other videos up. Check with that, subscribe, ring the bell to help out here. And study the archaeology for yourself and see if you agree or disagree. Thank you very much for watching.